Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready? The champ is here! It's just a man! Give me a hell yeah! What the rock is cooking? To be the man, you have to be the man! Big bubble pump! If you hooked up!
Falling!
Holla! In the air! Woo, woo, woo! Cup of coffee in the big day.
Yo, yo, yo. What is going on? Demon, how are you today, brother?
Woo, woo, woo.
Oh, I know it. Really great to be back with everyone today here on Working the Marks on Famcast Media. And
a lot has happened.
a lot has happened. I have a horrible eye infection, which is why I'm wearing these glasses.
Ooh.
I kind of got a little bit of a Forrest Whitaker thing going on right now.
No bueno.
But it does not stop me from doing my job.
Forrest Whitaker. What do you got? The sword? Where's your sword?
I wish it was the King of Scotland. We got Dee in the house. We got Lemmy in the house in the background. I don't know if you see Lemmy over there. There he is. He's waiting. He's waiting for the show. He might even play the Triple H theme song for all we know. But a lot to talk about, man. What a great SummerSlam we had.
You think so?
I loved it. I
didn't like the ending.
You didn't like the ending? What didn't you like about it?
I just think that they have nothing else to fucking do. That's why they fucking did that ending. They're out of ideas.
I don't think so. I think they have a ton of ideas. I just think that what they're doing is they're giving the Uso brothers, the twins, their wish a long time ago.
They should have did that on WrestleMania time, not this like.
Well, I mean, you got to build towards it, right? You got to build towards it, and for me, I think that this angle now is kind of like the Disney Plus series to the Marvel movie that is The Bloodline.
Yeah.
And now we have another subplot coming in. You know what I mean? So many other subplots that we've had in the subsequent time that this storyline has been around, and this is just another one. And now we're gonna get the twin brothers probably facing each other at WrestleMania in Philadelphia.
But I mean, what? All right. Well, before we get into all this stuff, man.
Sure.
Let's talk about that debacle, Marty Jannetty, bro. The shit that came on last night from Dark Side of the Ring. Dude? His foot. Oh my God, man.
I mean, look, I don't watch that program. It's no surprise that I'm not a fan of the program. I've talked about it here to no end. That I'm not a fan of the program. I feel that number one, it digs up a lot of unnecessary heat.
It dug up his foot.
Yeah. I mean,
bro, he's got like pus coming out of his. It's like it's disgusting.
I mean, I think there's a variety of reasons why. Probably poor lifestyle choices, drug abuse, which is also associated with that, and just really not prioritizing your fucking health.
Shawn Michaels blessed him in a church in holy water. And he said that he was good for 3 weeks and then got locked up and lost his third E contract. It's like, bro, they just said you were going to make $1 million and you go off and you go F around and get locked up.
It's unfortunate, man, because I just think at the end of the day, he has a lot of problems, man. He has addiction issues. It's something that, that's really, really difficult to get over, man. And no amount of money, no amount of blessing, no amount of anything. I mean, you talk about Shawn, I had caught one of the clips from it on Twitter, or X, excuse me. X gonna give it to you.
CM Punk's Twitter.
Yeah, apparently, right? So, or D-Generation X's Twiher.
Oh, yes, they'll take it over. That's fucking Hunter's Twitter.
But it's like they talk about that part where they got into the fight in the hotel room, and then Shawn pushes Marty out the window, and it's kind of interesting, if that is in fact true.
And the chick telling the story, bro, she used to be some hot piece of valet, but then you see her now, she got like her bottom teeth are black from smoking meth and crack, and it's like, bro, you were smoking when you were in the 80s.
I think it's really more of a cautionary tale than anything else. You know, and it's just really, really unfortunate. And it's kind of interesting how Sean, you know, allegedly pushed Marty through this window. They get into a fight. Then Marty beats the shit out of him.
Only on the first floor, though, luckily.
Luckily, it was on the first floor. And then, you know, not long after, Sean kicks Marty through a window on TV. So it's kind of interesting how...
irony. Vince McMahon. He probably told Vince that story. Vince was like, I got you, pal. Don't worry about it. Yeah. How the reality kind of paralleled the fantasy aspect of it. But, you know, it's... it makes you wonder. More importantly, I think it's just... it's a sad situation above all else, I think, with Marty Jannetty. And again, more of a cautionary tale. I know that there was some marks online talking about Brutus Beefcake, mentioning how you know, Marty and Sean would H-bomb girls, and you know, they would drug them and have their way with them and all that stuff. Yeah.
It depends what you want to believe. It depends how you want to feel. I, for one, personally, not even because I'm a Shawn Michaels fan, but like, I don't think Sean had trouble getting girls. Let's just put it that way.
Who would have thought Brutus Beefcake would be Me Tooing somebody?
Well, I mean, look, dude, everybody's desperate for attention. Everybody's desperate for a click. No pun intended there.
So Beefcake's wifey there, bro. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll flash you, Marty, but I got microphones on.
Yeah. That's classy
I don't know
people.
who she is, man, but she looked like she was a piece of hot tail, bro, back in the day.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of these women were, but, you know, unfortunately, drugs catch up with people. And
I thought it was Missy Hyatt at first. When I first took a glance.
I didn't even watch it. But I can only imagine based on what you said. The few clips that I did catch on X.
They did talk about the angle of the murder angle.
Yeah, what was that about?
That's he said it was a wrestling angle, but he said it was partially reality because it was the guy he was buying weed from when he was a teenager working at a bowling alley tried to grab his schnizzazz, you know, and he, you know, pushed him off and got out of the car. But in the wrestling angle, he cracked him with a rock over the head and hit him in the right spot in the temple and killed him. And then somebody helped him burn the body. That was the wrestling angle.
I got to be honest. It's kind of hard to believe any of this, especially when it's coming from the mouth of Marty Jannetty.
The cops went looking.
Of course. I mean, of course, man. You know, and I think any cop that does their job is going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know who's this Watson Cholo or whatever.
Cholo? You mean Chloe Watson?
I don't know. But
I don't know who Chloe Watson is, but hello, Chloe Watson. Thank you for watching the show.
Dee Rotten has a hard time reading shit.
It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Dyslexia kicks in, brothers.
It happens. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of these types of shows. I'm sure for the kind of people that enjoy it, it's great. But you know, for those people who did watch it, it should serve as a cautionary tale. You know, Marty Jannetty literally had the world by the balls.
Yes, sir.
And just
3 times
chose to ruin it every single chance that he got, and was given chance after chance, was forgiven. And
even by the Lord.
Yeah. And hey, man, to some people that really means a lot. It does. But it's just unfortunate, and I just think at the end of the day, his demons continue to catch up with him. Unfortunately and fortunately, as a result of this program, there's probably going to be a boost in his indie date appearances, and you know,
once he gets that foot fungus thing fixed, bro, his foot is like the size of a grapefruit.
Yeah, I'm taking your word for it. So
he blames it on when he was in the New Rockers, and even Al Snow said it that he popped his ankle or something in the ring, and ever since then his ankle's been jacked up.
It's unfortunate, you know, but that's just the way it is, man. You know, it's not ballet. You're gonna get hurt in there, but again,
especially if you're messed up.
Yeah, man. You know, if you have a destructive lifestyle, and you know, being under the influence is your primary, you know, goal.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to be able to be the best professional that you can be under any circumstances. So, you know, it's unfortunate that it happened. It's unfortunate that Marty's in the position that he's in. And again, to the people watching it, whether you're a fan, whether you're a wrestler, whatever you are, let it serve as a cautionary tale and learn from, you know, everything that Marty Jannetty has done, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there's certainly a lot to learn there. And Marty in his day was a hell of a worker. And
One of the best.
Man. I mean, you know, he was just as big a part of the Rockers as Shawn. He helped propel Shawn to that next level. And
if there was no Marty, it would be no Shawn.
Yeah.
There would be no Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I don't say that out loud that much.
No. But you know what? You're 100% right. You wouldn't have that. And I don't think we as fans would have had that. And I don't think that, you know, any of the aspiring wrestlers that are out there would have had that as a reference to be able to look at and to say, hey, this is what it takes to put on an exciting match. This is what it takes to get people emotionally invested.
Yep.
And these are two of the best guys, you know, to ever do it. And let me tell you, man, the Rockers are a tag team that are highly influential. Highly influential. You wouldn't have the Hardy Boys. You wouldn't have the Young Bucks. You wouldn't have a lot of people if it wasn't for them. So the Rockers definitely deserve their flowers. Marty deserves his flowers regardless of what his situation is. And, you know, Shawn, obviously.
They should be in the Hall of Fame.
I think as a tag team, they should be.
Yes.
But I just think that, you know, and again, I don't know because I didn't watch the episode. I don't know if he said anything derogatory about anybody in the WWE right now.
No, he was on his P's and Q's, bro. He was really good.
Well, I'll take your word for it. But
he's still friends with Shawn to this day, he says.
Well, I just I hope that Marty's able to clean up his life enough for them to be able to get the credit that they deserve, because they certainly need to be inducted as a tag team. You know, Shawn, obviously, you know, as a performer himself, Hall of Famer, DX Hall of Fame. But the Rockers certainly deserve that credit. And I would like to see them at some point get it. Even though I'm not one of these crazy Hall of Fame guys, like, you know, Uribe is a bit more one of these Hall of Fame guys that he likes to say, well, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's a gimmick Hall of Fame.
I enjoy it though. It's fun.
I think it's a part of the weekend. It's a part of the package. Yes. It's a way to market that whole weekend. It definitely promotes a lot of crowd interaction. It's a great way for fans to see legends. I don't know. I mean, it depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends how you look at it. But I just think more importantly for guys like Marty, for guys who, you know, are on the indies, who are doing autograph signings, who are kind of living off of former glory, so to speak. Yeah. It's a way for them to be able to rebound and make a little bit of money back.
It's a good payday too. For them.
Exactly. You know, and think about this too. You know,
they don't go for free.
Now you go to an autograph signing. Let's say you go to WrestleCon. You can throw on their WWE Hall of Famer, and that'll increase your rate.
You know?
Yeah, and people are gonna want to look at it. Some people might want to kiss it. You know, we don't know. I mean, you know, marks are a strange breed there, but. You know, at the end of the day, I think it's helpful to guys that need that extra boost. And I think Marty is in a position where he could use that extra boost.
Yeah, no, exactly. In other news, I got something for you here, Pat.
Sure.
The signing of Brian Pillman Jr. It's official. And they're saying he might be the one to dethrone the Dom Dom.
Here's the thing, and for me, you know, I haven't always been the biggest Brian Pillman Jr. fan. I get it. I get why fans are enamored.
He looks just like his dad when he had the cane and everything, you know, in ECW.
Yeah. No, he's good. Image. He's good at doing his daddy shtick, and that's fine. For me personally, I think I've never really been a fan of that type of deal. I've kind of been more of a fan of people who've tried to carve their own path. Yeah. Whether it's, you know,
it's
Cody.
Hard though, man, when you're you know, you're a son or a daughter of a great person like that.
I mean, Randy Orton. You know, you have a lot of guys that can go and they could be their dad. They could go and they could be their dad. You know, I mean, Ted DiBiase Jr. tried to be his dad.
Oh, he's looking at 45.
Yeah, well, he's, you know, that's long-term storytelling right there. You know, his dad was all about greed, and his son, unfortunately, has to face those charges, and sad situation. But you know, you look at him, you look at Curtis Axel, or what's his name? Something Joe Hennig. Joe Hennig.
Yeah.
He tried to do the Mr. Perfect thing. You know, initially, Michael McGillicuddy, that didn't really pan out. Then, you know, they made him Curtis Axel. It didn't really pan out. They stuck him with Heyman. It just didn't work. He's a talented guy. Technically in the ring, the guy can go.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the charisma that his father had. His father was very unique and just absolutely legendary. And you know, it doesn't always pay off when you try and walk in your dad's shoes. Cody Rhodes, you know, had a similar scenario where he kind of tried to be his own man, and then over time he kind of found himself, and now he leans into the dusty stuff a little bit more, but he does it in a way where he's still very much himself. Brian Pillman Jr. to me just tried to be his dad, you know, whether it was trying to do the loose cannon thing on the indies, or trying to be, you know, Hollywood Blonde, or trying to be, you know, High Flying Brian.
Maybe he's just finishing the story.
There's that phrase again. There's that phrase. We got to get it like Pee-wee, you know, where like it comes up, or anytime that's mentioned, like, you know, the bells go off, the ding, 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 you know, word of the show, or phrase of the show.
Finish the story.
But I think, you know, from what I saw from Pillman, I wasn't terribly impressed from his stuff in AEW. I think a lot of that had to do more so with
AEW.
Yeah. I think it had a lot more to do with the fact that AEW lacks a lot of structure.
You put Shawn or Triple H behind him, bro, I guarantee he's gonna make money.
Well, one would think, right? One would think, but at the end of the day, the individual involved is the one that really has to put in the most effort. You know, Triple H could do everything under the sun. Shawn Michaels could do everything under the sun. They could propel you and put you in the right place, the right time. They could get you ready. But at the end of the day, you as a talent have to apply yourself to be in that spot. You know, let's see what happens. I think that he's in the best case scenario for him to be able to succeed, or at least obtain some level of success. But let's see how he does first. You know, I don't want to, you know, jack up the expectations simply because he's under the NXT banner. He's in the E now, and he has the ability to be able to go to the performance center.
I don't think they would have put him on if he wasn't good enough. Just name value alone, bro. They're not going to just put you on just because you're.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I mean, look, they've taken a lot of chances on guys just because of their name. Mm-hmm. They've tried it. It didn't work out. And that was that. And, you know, people can blame the company all they want, all the booking and all this other shit. Look, at the end of the day, it's up to the talent, okay? Yeah. Once upon a time, Gunther was Walter. And Walter was talented, and Walter was good. But Gunther realized, hey, I want to create the perception of a real main eventer. I'm going to tone up my body. I'm going to get bigger. And I think over time, he's going to become more muscular. He's gonna look more like a Drew McIntyre type of dude.
I think he was listening to a lot of Rammstein.
I wouldn't be surprised. But you know, he's a guy who took the assignment seriously, and look at what he's accomplished thus far. So long story short, I hope that Brian Pillman applies himself, understands the opportunity that he has in front of him, and puts himself in the best position possible and has the best attitude possible to be able to take the advice of the people around him and learn to marinate, learn to grow, learn to take steps. You know, learn to crawl before he walks, learns to walk before he runs, you know, learns to run before he sprints. You know, all these little things I think can ultimately help him get to somewhere. So
you don't think Tony Khan taught him anything like that?
I don't think it's Tony Khan's responsibility to do that.
But Tony Khan teaches everybody over there everything.
Well, I mean,
he is Mr. 200.
That's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. But he's also actually known as the Snowman. But, you know, I don't think it's Tony Khan's responsibility to do that. It's Tony Khan's responsibility to be able to provide them a facility where they can train and they can become the best talent possible. You know, similar to what the WWE has in the Performance Center. Yeah. But it's not his responsibility to train talent or, you know, get them ready for whatever, you know. So we'll see what happens between now and then. But I think Brian Pillman right now is in a good position, and I hope that he takes the opportunity to learn and to grow and to eventually, live up to his potential. So let's see what happens. But I wish him all the best.
As long as he doesn't do what is it, 9mm? What was that Glock 9mm Pillman or whatever? What was that called?
Yeah. That's such a legendary segment. But
316 meet 9 Glock 9mm.
Yeah, man. I love that segment. I think it was fantastic. But that segment was for that
dude,
time.
I'm telling you right now.
Oh, it was awesome.
Amazing.
It was awesome. It was awesome. That was one of the best live segments ever because people legitimately thought like something happened. People called the police. I mean, the whole nine. And that's great. When you can work fans to that point where they start calling the police, you've done something right.
It's like when Rey Mysterio got fucking thrown like a dart by Kevin Nash into the friggin'
to the production truck. Yeah.
All the cops.
Yeah. So I kind of want to see him veer away from the Brian Pillmanisms. I kind of want to see him become his own man, so to speak. I
guarantee you after he comes in and does the Brian Pillman stuff.
I think he just needs to focus on what he can do to make himself better. Brian Pillman is gone. He was a finished product before he left. Mm-hmm. He was who he was. Be your own man. Build your own name. Focus on what you can do well, and then we'll see what happens in time.
Like Jungle Boy, Jack Perry.
I'll tell you this much. I think Pillman has a better physique than Jungle Boy. Pillman, you could tell, works out. Pillman, you can tell, is in shape. In that aspect, I think he takes it a lot more seriously than Jungle Boy. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what happens between now and then. But I do wish Brian Pillman Jr. the best of luck.
You'll be seeing him soon, bro. Another news we got over here, man. There's news that Triple H, he's eyeing up a talent in AEW. He wants Jade Cargill.
Yeah, I was hearing that she might be done with AEW, and let me tell you something.
She'd be money.
Absolutely. She was money in AEW with whatever limited resources she had, which was basically working with Bryan Danielson, working with Regal, being under the learning tree of a lot of other talent. I'm
gonna be a male chauvinist pig right now, bro, but she'd be money in like the bikini shots and shit like that, man. I'm like.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. She looks like a goddess. She looks like an action figure. You know what I'm saying? She looks like Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? She could be anything.
I was this close to buying her yesterday at Walmart.
I mean, she's super talented, and the ceiling is very, very high for her. And I think under the guide of WWE, under the guidance of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, NXT, the PC, I think that she could really become something huge.
She'll come and take Charlotte on real quick.
I don't even think Charlotte. I think you build towards that eventually, but a showdown between her and Rhea.
But I'm saying she's like the only one that's like the same height as Charlotte, same build and everything. All these other chicks are tiny next to Charlotte.
Yeah, but Rhea's a muscle mommy. Rhea's got some serious muscles on her, and I think her and Jade match up really, really well. And I think that would be, aesthetically, imagine that, like they would just both look amazing. So, I think that's a great choice by Triple H. I think it would be a great choice for Jade, and it would certainly propel her.
Grab that one. He blocked the Elite.
I don't think he has much of an option. I think the Elite were gonna stay no matter what, dude. Because, and I had said this a long time ago here on Working the Marks, available on Famcast Media. I had mentioned the fact that, I think that if the Elite stay, then Punk is leaving. And if Punk stays, then the Elite are leaving. But either way, I think Punk is ultimately going to end up back in WWE. And I think that when he went to Monday Night Raw, and he was backstage, I think he had very positive conversations. And I think that they're open to do business.
He talked to Mr. H.
Look, man,
that's a shocker.
It is, but I think he's in a situation where, look, he's trying to do the best he can with the people that he's working with. I think he likes the people that he's working with. I don't think he likes the structure there because there isn't any fucking structure there. Mm-hmm. And I think that he understands that his best way to make money and to cap off his career in a fantastic way is to go back to WWE. Yeah, and to be involved in big programs there, to make merch, to do one last run, and shit, maybe even get in the fucking Hall of Fame. We don't know.
One last big payday, bro.
but I wouldn't be surprised. And getting back to Jade Cargill, I think it's the best move for her. I think she knows that. I think she has accomplished everything that she's needed to in AEW. And let me tell you, man, the way that she lost that streak, no offense to Chris Statlander, who I think is talented, it was kind of a downer. It was kind of a bummer. You know, Chris Statlander's very talented, but she's not like a huge star to the point where like that it's gonna get a huge reaction, you know, from a mainstream audience that Statlander came in and beat her. That crowd liked it, and that's fine. But I just kind of felt like it was a downer to end Jade's streak like that, and to not have her lose to somebody, you know, of name value. That was the thing for me. But hey, man, you know, we'll see what happens between now and then. But I think if Jade really wants to take her career to the next level, WWE is the place to be. And I guarantee you, in a few years' time, she would be in WrestleMania in the big matches against Bianca, against Charlotte, against Rhea, against, you know, Bayley, Becky, any one of those women. You take your pick. You know, Asuka. We also, in other WWE related news, Kairi Sane has re-signed with WWE. Yeah, Kairi Sane, the Pirate. The Pirate is coming back with one of the best elbow drops in the history of the business. Kairi Sane's coming back, which I think is great. I think it's huge for WWE. And, you know, good for Kairi. She did her thing. From what I understand, she's wrapping up her Japanese dates, and she should be coming back to WWE shortly. So certainly another talented woman back in there. I know there's a lot of people complaining about the women's division. Oh, they're not booking the women's division and all this stuff. And look, man,
I still say they should fucking have their own show and just separate them from
I don't think so, man. I don't think so, man. I think once you get into that territory, there's no coming back. I know that I'm going to sound like a jerk for saying this right now, but I do not think that there's enough interest in women's wrestling right now as it stands to get to that point. Okay.
Yes.
You look at you look at, you know, you look at the Women's World Cup, right? You look at all of the professional women's leagues in America. They're not getting the numbers. They're not getting the traction that a lot of the men's leagues are.
Can I pull up Fernando right now? Can I pull up Professor right now?
Oh God, he would be in his glory right now. With me saying this,
professor
and he would somehow try and turn into some political angle because
he would probably say right now. He would probably say, "Well, if some of the the transgender women would go into wrestling, we'd be able to pull that off."
Well, listen, I don't want to know what excites him, but at the end of the day, I'll say this much: I don't think that as it stands, there's enough there for women to be able to have their own show just yet. I mean,
they tried it with that whole pay-per-view, bro. It only lasted.
I was at that pay-per-view, by the way.
You went to it?
Yeah, I was at that pay-per-view, and it was a really great show. Don't get me wrong; it was excellent. I was there and had met current AEW talent, legit Layla Hirsch. And let me tell you something, man. She was sitting there. She was studying. She was watching it. She was watching every move, every detail. And I could see that, she certainly had that desire to be at a top level. And I fully expect her to be there at some point in time, too. So
you think she was
all the best to legit Layla Hirsch out there.
Do you think she was saying in her mind, too, man, this is only going to be one pay-per-view?
I don't know, man. I mean, again, I just don't think that it's enough just yet. But I think that them being a part of the ensemble, them being a part of the show, them being a part of Monday Night Raw and being a part of SmackDown, I think it's good for them. It's good for them. It's good for everybody, man, because at the end of the day, wrestling's a variety show and people tune in for different reasons. Some people specifically tune in for the women, but
I'm surprised Tony hasn't been, productive in in that situation.
I think he's got bigger fish to fry, to be quite honest, before he jumps to any type of point like that. But we'll see how it goes. And again, for all the people that were distraught all weekend about Becky not being on the card, Rhea not being on the card, Trish not being on the card, Charlotte, this, that, and well, Charlotte was on the card, but people being distraught about all that stuff. There's only so many stories that you can tell.
Yeah.
In one night. They're not going to make SummerSlam 2 nights. That's why they have WrestleMania 2 nights, because they want to do all this stuff over 2 nights. Mm-hmm. Even then, and no matter what, people will still complain, because that's just what marks do by nature. They complain no matter what. Yeah. So even if they would have included those women on the card, people would have still complained that the card was too long. So you're never going to win this. But at the end of the day, I think it's good because you keep the ball rolling. And there's still so many other TV matches you could do. There's still so many other future main events you can have, and you can build towards other shows because you have a ton of other shows available. So, you know,
exactly.
I think they're doing what they have to do. Not everybody's gonna like it. I love what Becky did, drinking lemonade on Monday Night Raw after Triple H made that comment about you take lemons, you turn them into lemonade. I thought that was a nice little way to kind of work everybody with that, because obviously she has no ill will towards Triple H, and it's nothing like that.
Not.
And then the fact that she's spitting the lemonade out like the way Triple H used to spit the water
she
out.
did the game thing, yes.
I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, I certainly look forward to all that, and I look forward to at some point seeing Jade Cargill in WWE, because she certainly belongs there.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get into the main event here, Patrick. The main
Yes.
event, which what everybody wants to know is your opinions on this SummerSlam. Let's start off with the Battle Royal.
Sure.
What do you think? What do you think about what impressed you about the Battle Royal? Did LA Knight impress you in this Battle Royal? Because I don't think he really did anything for me.
I've said it before here on previous
Chad Gable
episodes.
had a better impression.
Chad Gable to me is one of the most underrated guys on the roster. And more on him a little later, but Chad Gable, he did great. I think everybody else that was in the Battle Royal did great. I think as far as it being produced, how it went, who was showcased, who got shine, how you set up future angles, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
LA Knight's a guy that, a part of the fan base, a more vocal part of the fan base, has really been trying to get behind, has been behind for quite some time. And he's certainly a guy that's talented. He's earned his spot there. But for me personally, he's kind of one of those guys where I see it, but I don't see it yet. You know what I mean? I see it, but I don't see it. And I think this is a good stepping stone for him. Obviously, some people, made a little bit more out of his pop than what it was. I thought it was a good pop for what it was. I think this is a good starting point for him to eventually kind of start clawing his way into contention for maybe holding a mid-card title or just being featured in bigger spots. Obviously, he had that segment with The Miz on Monday Night Raw. I thought that was good. A little bit of a botch up at the end, but all in all, I think they both accomplished what they set out to do. But I'm gonna kind of cool my expectations for LA Knight right now, and I want to see where it goes, because we've kind of seen this before, whether it's Zack Ryder, Elias, a bunch of mid-card guys that were kind of steadily climbing, were super over, and everybody's like, why isn't this guy getting a push? Let's see where it goes.
Yeah,
let's see where it goes.
I agree with you. I don't think he needs a heavyweight title, but I think he does need at least to have a mid-card title.
Maybe. But I think at the end of the day, they know what they have with him. They know how to treat it, and I think less is more with him. I think the less you have him on, the more his appearances are going to mean, and the more he's going to be an attraction. And you also have to take into consideration his age and the window that you have available with him. Yeah. So
he's probably happy about the money he's making, bro. That's it, man. What the hell does he need a title for? I said, what does he need a title for? He's probably happy with the money.
Dude, he's in a great position. So, I mean, for all the people that are crying that he doesn't have a title and all that stuff, he's crying all the way to the bank. Okay?
Exactly.
And he's not only is he crying all the way to the bank, but now this guy's a global superstar. He is a global superstar. He is known internationally. And that right there is really, 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 really huge. So let's see what happens. But I think that the Battle Royal win was excellent. And I think it's a nice way to set up other stories. Some people were a little disappointed that, Austin Theory was in the Battle Royal and that he didn't defend the U.S. title. Again, I go back to the card scenario, and Triple H had even outlined this himself in the SummerSlam press conference, the post-SummerSlam press conference. Mm-hmm. You only have so many hours to do this stuff. And you don't want to make this card 6 hours long and lose people by the time the main event comes around. Other companies do that. WWE was guilty of that at one point. But I think that they maximized what they maximized. I think throwing Theory in there, having him to try and win that Battle Royal was good. And also, having him get eliminated by Escobar, I think was really good. And it sets up their matchup on Friday. So all in all, it was very well produced, and I think it's a good stepping stone for LA Knight. Yeah.
What do you give it from a 1 to 5?
3.
3?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good number. Well, let's get into Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey in a fake MMA fight.
In a fake MMA fight, it didn't look pretty fake based on the way Shayna looked on Monday. Let me tell you.
I think that was makeup, bro. And I don't know, man.
I don't think so,
That black eye
dude.
looked a little fake.
There was a couple of live rounds in there, dude. And I think this match
we both watched MMA, bro, and that did not look like MMA.
I don't know, dude. She got popped.
A cage, you should have did a whole little cage.
No,
thing,
but they don't need to go that. I mean, look, dude. It was similar to what they would do in Pride, out in Japan. It was very similar to that. At the end of the day, they accomplished what they needed to accomplish, which was getting Shayna over. I didn't think it was as bad as people made it out to be, but it also wasn't as good as it could have been. So I think both women did well with what they were given. Mm-hmm. And, again, big ups to Ronda, man, for putting over her best friend. Big ups to Ronda for putting over a lot of people, for making a lot of people when she could have been selfish. She could have monopolized all the titles, and she could have been the top dog, but she chose not to.
Why do you think Ronda she's gone. Why do you think she wanted to leave?
It's exhausting, I can imagine. It's exhausting. I mean, you go from fighting in the UFC where you're in training camp, 3 months. Then you go, you do the press, you do the fight, and it's literally a couple of days of press and fighting and all this stuff. WWE, you're traveling from town to town, you're doing TV. I think that the fans are a lot to deal with. They're very rabid. Wrestling fans are very, very rabid. And I don't think MMA fans are as rabid because they don't have weekly television. Like they don't have, Monday Night Raw in the UFC where like fighters are going to come out and have matches every night. Like, no, you can't do that. That's unrealistic. So I just think that it's a lot of things. It's the travel. It's, the fans. There's a lot of things to take into consideration. I don't think that fans have always been particularly fair with. She just popped out a kid, so, she probably wants to be with her family. She probably wants to spend time with her husband. And again, Ronda did great in the sense that, she put over a lot of the women on the roster. She did a lot of good for the company. She helped elevate so many talents. She really did her part to help elevate Becky Lynch. We wouldn't have the Becky that we have now had she not beaten her and won that main event. So
would never be the man.
Yeah, man, I think Ronda gets an unfair shake. I think a lot of the marks don't like her, but what the fuck do they know anyway? All the best to Ronda Rousey. I hope to see her somewhere down the line. And if she does come back, I'd like to see her come back as a Paul Heyman girl. I think that if anybody can help her the way he helped Roman kind of get to that next level, I think Paul Heyman's the guy to do it. So, yeah, but all the best to Ronda Rousey.
So what do you give the Shayna Ronda 1 to 5?
I hate to say it, but I'm going to give it a 2. I hate to say it, but I'm going to give it a 2. I am.
Is it a fake MMA, right?
No. It wasn't that. And again, they threw live rounds, man. You go back and watch that match. They threw live rounds, dude. They kicked each other. They punched each other. That wasn't a joke. That was not a joke. I think a lot of the shots that were in that match would make a lot of the grown men marks cry. So yeah, I hate to say it because for me personally, I respect both women immensely, but if I'm being objective here, I would say it was a 2. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I hope I don't get criticized like the way Meltzer does for this now. Patrick gave it a 2 instead of a 5.
I agree with you too, man. It was only a 2, bro. I mean, really.
I think the Battle Royal was better, and the Battle Royal didn't really blow me away much. I think it served its purpose, but for me, yeah, I would say it was a 2.
All right, now let's get into Logan Paul, the superstar of the internet, and Ricochet fighting for his fiance's honor.
For me, I enjoyed it. I thought that it was a spectacle. I thought that these guys did everything they needed to do. I thought that the spots were great. Ricochet is just so friggin' talented.
Is Logan like, he looks a lot better than some of the dudes on the indies, man.
He does, man. But, this is a dude that's an athlete. This is a dude that takes it seriously. He also just recently announced another boxing match, I believe in October, with Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis is a guy who has been trying to get at the Paul brothers for a very long time, a highly accomplished grappler, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and sparring partner of Conor McGregor. Ooh, so, that's going to generate some interest for sure. But, Logan Paul is just a great athlete. He's a guy who's applied himself, and you can tell that he respects the business. I thought the match had a lot of great spots. I enjoyed the finish. I love the little details, like him hitting him, Logan hitting Ricochet with the brass knucks, tucking him into his trunks, just his facials, his mannerisms. Everything that this guy does is fantastic. And Ricochet is another amazing talent too. I feel like Ricochet kind of leveled up in these matchups because he's a guy that wasn't always the greatest promo guy, but I felt like his promos the last couple of weeks leading up to it and everything that they were doing was really good. And he's just a phenomenal athlete. So I enjoyed this match, and I thought it was excellent. I enjoyed the finish. I think that it leaves a little bit more story to be told. And I'm going to give this match a 4. Honestly, I'm going to give this match a 4. I thought it was excellent.
All right. Well, let's go into the next one right here. Gunther's defending his IC title against Drew McIntyre.
Okay, so on paper, I think everybody was excited when they saw this.
Yes.
I think everybody was excited when this match was announced. Drew coming back from a long layoff, coming back big. Nice entrance, working a program with this champion that has just been a buzzsaw, has just gone through everybody, and is really, in my opinion, on track to becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Watch your back, honky tonk man.
Yeah, definitely. But for me, the match was good for what it was. I think we all expected maybe a little bit more. I love that Gunther came out in the Regal Burgundy. I thought that was kind of cool. The match itself I thought was a pretty hard hitting encounter, but I wouldn't say that it was either guy's best match. Obviously Gunther retains, which we all expected. Yeah. And the reign continues. I know some people will complain that Drew came back for this.
Drew had his moment in the sun, bro.
Yeah, maybe, but I think Drew's okay. I don't think Drew's complaining. I think Drew understands that somewhere down the line he's going to be put in a big spot. Hell, he might be the guy to dethrone him down the line. We don't know just yet. But as far as the match went, I think it was good for what it was. I don't think it really lived up to the expectation. So I'm going to give this one a 3. I'm going to give it a 3.
3?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of both of them, but I agree with you.
Okay.
McIntyre's a nice guy, Now let's get into Cody versus Brock, the finishing of the story. This is chapter 2.
There it is again, huh? There it is again. Finish the story. Man, I'm a huge fan of both guys. I think Brock Lesnar is really one of a kind. I don't think we're ever going to see a guy like Brock Lesnar ever again.
He's like Hulk Hogan. He's like a Rock, Stone Cold.
Shit. I mean, in some ways he might even be better, only because of his shoot fighting background. Him, being a UFC champion, being an NCAA champion, and just. I mean, some people like to say that Bret Hart's the most realistic wrestler of all time, right? And that's fair. I think that's fair. Hey, look, I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say.
I don't know who told you that lie.
Bret had a pretty realistic style, but I think Brock Lesnar is just way more realistic because everything that he does looks painful. And he's as legit gets.
It probably is painful. You're saying it. Look,
it might be. It might be. It might not be. You know what I mean? We don't know, but that's the beauty of it all. That's
probably
the beauty of
an
it all.
extra C note for fighting Brock Lesnar.
He makes you wonder. And that to me, I think is the most interesting thing because in a day and age where kayfabe is essentially dead, a guy like Brock Lesnar really makes you think. He really makes you wonder, and I think that that right there is just what sets him apart from everybody else. Not only, his freakish athleticism, everything else that he does, the fact that this guy has been able to reinvent himself, the fact that he was able to go from having Paul Heyman, who's arguably the greatest manager of all time, and Paul Heyman leaves him, and everybody thinks, oh well, Brock's kind of fucked. He's not going to be able to cut his own promos. Brock ended up cutting great promos. Had a character development, put on a fucking cowboy hat. You know what I'm saying? Started wearing band shirts. All of a sudden, we're seeing a different Brock Lesnar than we ever saw before.
Boombox Brock.
Boombox Brock. I mean, like, we had so many amazing layers to Brock over time. And Brock's a guy who's been around, 20 years now? 21 years now? It's fucking impressive. It's super duper duper impressive. So obviously, I'm a fan of Brock Lesnar. I love what he brings. Anytime he comes out, he never gets a stale reaction. He never gets a non-reaction. Like, people stand up. People get excited when Brock Lesnar comes out because he's going to toss a motherfucker and shit's going to get crazy.
Exactly.
Cody Rhodes, to me, is the biggest babyface in the business right now.
He's a story finisher.
There's a couple of stories on pause, but this story definitely got finished. And, he's just, everything that he does means something. Everything that he does means something. It's so important. Everything, every word that he speaks. Not only that, but, this is a guy that a lot of people had kind of forecasted would start kind of sinking after WrestleMania and after that loss to Roman. But it's been all the opposite. He's just continued to rise. The fans are more and more into him everywhere he goes. He gets a great response, great crowd interaction. And you could see that the fans were solidly behind him in this match. He had his mother ringside.
Some chick with some big boobs behind
there.
her.
There was a lot of memes about that girl with the big boobs behind his mom.
Even Cody made a little joke about it.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious. But it's for me personally, it was one of the matches of the night, if not the match of the night. Everything that they did in that match mattered. And you could feel the animosity. You could feel the intensity. You could feel that Brock was just tired of this pesky little mosquito that he couldn't kill. And every time he thought he had this mosquito killed, he just kept coming back and kept fighting and kept getting in his face and couldn't stay down. And there was a lot of big spots in this match. I mean, he took an F5 on the floor. He took an F5 through a table. There was a lot of shit that happened in this matchup that was excellent.
They said that the ending of it was not scripted. That was Brock. Give him respect.
And hell yeah, man. I mean, and look, obviously Cody's the guy that's been getting a lot of seals of approval, whether from John Cena, various other superstars on the roster, and now Brock Lesnar. He's certainly making a case that he's the biggest babyface in the business. But I love this match. I thought it was such a great way to end this feud. I love that Cody got the win. Now Cody moves on. Where he goes, we don't know just yet. But I guarantee you whatever he does, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be interesting. And it's going to continue setting him in that upper trajectory to get him back to where he should be, which is in the main event competing for a world title. So
it was the third best match on the card.
I would say this was arguably the best match on the card, and I would say that this match was a solid 5 for me, because everything about it was perfect. The storytelling, the intensity, the believability, the bumps. They did great. They did crazy bumps, right? They did big bumps, big high spots, but it wasn't overkill. It wasn't overkill, and it was all within the context of the story. Cody stretching out that 10 count, Brock getting frustrated that everything he keeps doing to this guy just does not put him down. Yeah. And then Cody fighting back the way he did, hitting 3 crossroads on Brock, and then getting that pin. You see it in the crowd reaction. You see it with everything else. The legend of Cody Rhodes is just growing more and more with every passing show. And yeah, this match was amazing to me. It was definitely a 5-star match.
Well, my top match of the whole night is the next one we're going to talk about, is the women's heavyweight title match.
Oh, yeah.
Asuka, Flair, and Bianca.
I mean, this match for me, obviously, is up there with Cody and Brock. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Have to give credit out there. Macho called this.
He did. Macho did call it. And shout out to Macho, who is now a member of the Famcast Media family. Big shout out to my brother. So happy to have you on board here with us. We look forward to all of the great content that he's providing there, as well as having him back on here on Working the Mark. So big shout out to Macho Rodriguez, and all the best to you. And we look forward to seeing you again and having you a part of our show. And also, shit, I might even make a cameo on that show. Who knows? Who knows what's available down the road? But certainly, surprise, motherfucker. But I'm just really happy to have him on board, and we look forward to all the great content that he's going to be providing us here on Famcast Media. Yeah, he certainly predicted it. I thought the match was great. I love the whole Bianca, knee spot.
Yeah, that was nice.
They started taking her out. Everybody's kind of buying into it. Asuka and fucking Charlotte are going at it. I mean, and those two working together is just absolutely amazing every time they work. And the finish, man, that finish was just phenomenal. You think Bianca's out of it. Asuka spits the mist in Flair's face. She kicks, Bianca goes to try and take her out again. Bianca rolls her up 1, 2, 3. Bianca gets the win.
Bro, she had the belt for 45 seconds.
45 seconds, that's wild. And then all of a sudden, here comes Io Sky with Bayley in tow.
Oh, yeah.
And Bayley, the beautiful Bayley, grabs the briefcase, levels out Charlotte.
BBB.
Yeah.
Bayley.
Respectfully.
Love you, Bayley. Love you, girl.
Respectfully. But she takes the briefcase, wipes out Charlotte, wipes out Asuka, and then tries to wipe out Bianca, and then Bianca beats her to the chase. Io takes her out. Io cashes in the Money in the Bank.
Cracked her
in
the knee.
Yeah, which again, part of the story, part of the psychology of what they were doing, and to me, just absolutely fantastic. Hits the big moonsault. 1, 2, 3. New women's champion, Io Sky. Very, very, very well deserved, and so interesting. And again, I know a lot of people get caught up in long-term storytelling, but a year ago, they debuted as Damage Control at SummerSlam. A year later, Io wins the women's championship. And nice to see Dakota Kai coming back in there, sharing that moment with them in the ring. Dakota, obviously, not 100% ready yet to compete, but certainly on her way.
Party though, man. She's ready to party.
Yeah, of course. And I just thought it was a great moment for a very deserving talent, a talent that's been over for quite some time. One of the best wrestlers in the world, never mind female wrestlers in the world, one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I look forward to the dynamics between her and Bayley, seeing where that progresses. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little Bayley heel turn at some point. So
I'm thinking that might be, I want a title shot, Bayley.
Maybe. And also, we might even see Bayley and Dakota at some point get the tag titles, because, the tag titles are kind of in limbo now due to Sonya Deville's ACL tear. So, and all the best to Sonya Deville as well. Kind of a bummer to see, because I thought her and Chelsea were really getting into something cool.
Now Zack Ryder's not one half of the one half of the one half of the.
Well, did they relinquish the titles?
They're gonna.
You never know. They might stick her with somebody else. So let's see how that goes.
Zack Ryder comes in. And he's like,
Who knows? I mean, they might pair her with somebody from NXT at some point. Maybe they turn somebody heel and put her with her. But, I think it would be a shame to take the title off of Chelsea, especially after all the great character work she's been doing lately.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think she really found a great groove. So let's kind of see what goes on with that. I know there's some people that mentioned the curse of the women's tag team titles. There always seems to be some kind of injury or something. Maybe they are cursed.
There's a curse for everything. There's a curse for everything.
Who knows? Maybe I think if they get a shaman, they get an old priest and a young priest, a little holy water on it, maybe burn some sage. Maybe the bad juju will go away. We'll see. But I certainly wouldn't want to see them get stripped. But getting back to this incredible 3-way match and then the cash in, absolutely amazing match. The pacing, the storytelling, everything they did, the spots, just 3 of the best wrestlers in the world, 3 of the best women in the world, and then having another woman who's one of the best in the world coming in, just great finish. And I think in a lot of ways it made up for a lot of the crap that the fans were talking online about Becky and Trish not being on the card, or Rhea and Raquel not being on the card. You had a really big moment like that. Rhea was obviously at the show and was involved. In the world title match. But for me, I just think arguably match of the night, along with Cody and Brock, and I would give this one a 5 as well.
All right. Well, let's get into the World Heavyweight title match. Seth Rollins versus the Demon, Finn Balor.
Well, he wasn't the Demon in this one.
Okay, that's
he
right.
was just Finn Balor. He was just
Finn Balor.
He was Finn Balor traditional.
What is he? He's the Demon. He's leather jacket, and he's just Finn.
Yeah. With the makeup, he's the Demon. I think I expected a little bit more in my mind than what we got for the match. I think the match was sound. I think it was good for what it was.
I expected him to win because I want to talk about Seth being hurt.
If I predicted Finn to win on our last episode, and I kind of did that to kind of go against my instincts, but there was a part of me deep down inside that kind of felt like Seth was gonna retain.
You think he was trolling with all that? Oh my, I got injuries and this and that. He's just trolling people.
I mean, I think all these guys are working. I think they're all working. If they're talking and they're on a program or they're doing something, they're working. They're working. They're getting the crowd into it. And for me personally, it was a good match. I don't think it was their best match. I don't think it was their worst match. I think it was just there. It was okay. It was okay. It was there. And it was
predictable.
The ending was kind of predictable. A little bit of a downer.
Little tension and judgment there.
Yeah, I think so. I think they kind of cleared it up on Monday, but you obviously see that the seeds are being planted and something's going on there. Who knows? At some point down the line, send your money in the bank. Puerto Rico's own Damian Priest might be the guy to dethrone Rollins. So
He's gonna have to.
I think we left that match with a lot of questions, and I think that that's always a good thing. But for me personally, I like their previous encounter a little bit more. And
I think he should have came out as a Demon. It would have been a little bit better. But then if he came out as the Demon, you would have think he was going to win.
Right.
He's the Demon.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up leaving the stable at some point soon. So let's see where that goes. Who knows? Maybe a big face run as the Demon against the Judgment Day would be interesting. But I think there's a lot of questions there, and there's a lot of questions with Seth. There's a lot of questions with the Judgment Day. And I think that's interesting, and that just creates for more storylines down the road and for more interesting narratives down the road. So, but overall, this match, much respect to both of the guys involved and everybody involved in the match. But I gotta say it was a 3. It didn't. I think their previous matchup was better, but still very, very, very much a good matchup, and definitely left a lot of questions. So, and that's always a good thing in wrestling.
I agree with you. Now, in the main event, with the longest fucking entrance in God's green earth, Stan fucking Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. 15-minute entrance, bro. Gotta love it. Jesus Christ. Gotta love it. The importance, the relevancy, everything about it is just perfect. And again, the fact that people are complaining about it, that's what makes it even better, because you're doing your job right there. Yeah. I also understand that it was his longest match as champion so far, which clocked in at about 36 minutes. What was that, like his third match as champion? Roman? Yeah. No. How many times he defended that belt this year? It doesn't matter how many times he defends the belt. He could defend the belt fucking once. At the end of the day, the guy's a star, and when people's on there, when he's on there, people pay attention, and that's what's the important thing. That's the important thing, man. That is the important thing. There's other guys who've defended the titles a million times and all this other shit. Yeah, great, wonderful. Yeah. I don't think they're accomplishing what Roman is accomplishing right now. Roman is like the Jesus Christ of wrestling. Maybe he very well might be. But I think that he's certainly in an amazing role right now, and he's certainly on a run of a lifetime. I think years from now, people are going to look back at this and are going to appreciate it a lot more than they do now. I think there's a segment of marks that just want it to be over. I personally don't. I want to see this thing keep going. I want to see where it's going to end up. So Paul Heyman. I hope this doesn't end up like how the NWO ended up, bro. With like $1 million. I don't think so. I think they've already surpassed the NWO in a lot of ways. I really do. Ooh. I think because yeah. The NWO payoff was kind of flat. Sting and Hogan was flat. That was not, I don't know. And it sucked because for a match that was just so hyped up
had so much emotion going into it, had so much of everything going into it.
So you're saying
it was a bit of a letdown.
You're saying that Hogan was more flat than Linda Hogan's butt?
Just might be.
Sorry out there, folks, but her butt's flat.
I never looked, but thank you for sharing that information, D.
No problem. No problem. So what did you think about this? The fucking
Tribal Combat with Jey Uso?
Yeah,
I thought it was good, man. I like the way they paced it. I don't think it's their best matchup. I think the stuff that they did during Thunderdome was a lot better, man. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that, you know, you can hear the little whispers, you can hear all of the character stuff. That's I think what made it.
Are you not? I'm getting tired of the whole. Every time somebody does something wrong to Solo, he's like, "Oh, I'm Solo. I'm gonna kill you." It's like, bro, don't you have any loyalty, dude?
But
it's
that's
like, shit. I hit you by accident.
That's his role. That's his role. I mean, you know, and you got to take into consideration Roman's turned his back on everybody else. What's to say Solo's not safe? I mean, come on, you know. True. As far as the story goes, it's you know, it's on par with everything that's happened. But I thought the pacing was great in this match. I thought the way they built up to their big spots was good. I thought Jay looked like $1 million. He looked like a star.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, the big turn at the end, which you predicted. You were over here at Scum Commons watching the match along with our boy Lukey Baggs, fellow HCSB member, fellow scumbag, and another guy who's going to be also part of the Famcast Media family. Look forward to having him on as well. You know, you were the guy that really predicted that. You called it. Hey, you know, Jimmy's going to come out and turn on him. And sure enough, a hooded figure came out there after he hit a spear and a big splash on Roman. 1, 2, and then this hooded figure pulls him out, and he slowly pulls back the hood, and it's Jimmy Uso.
Why?
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? You know, this.
Why not out of the why?
This is another subplot. This is another subplot to it, and again,
it's like
more.
He's the one over there in fucking in Saudi Arabia, bro. I got your back, and he turns on Roman. And now he's like, now I don't have your back.
Well, let's take a look at this. All right, when he got hurt the first time, Jay became main event Jey Uso. He was the right hand man. Yeah. He was doing all this big stuff.
Big
and
time.
You know, you got to think as far as the storyline goes.
Jey Uso.
yeah. He was main event Jey Uso. He's the right hand man. And you know, during the Thunderdome era, Jimmy was, you know, hurt. He was dealing with injury, you know, and he had some other issues. And you know, he's watching his brother compete for the title. He's watching his brother do big things. When, you know, maybe he felt like he should have been the top star out of the two brothers. You know, I think a lot's going to be explained on Friday night, but there's a lot of questions. And again, in wrestling, when you leave the fans asking a lot of questions, you're doing the right thing. And for me, I think they did the right thing. I think this is another layer to the amazing story that is the Bloodline. And you know, going back to what we originally talked about at the beginning with them wrestling each other, you know, they did an interview with Ariel Helwani where they said they wanted to face each other like they did when they were little kids. True. You know, from day one, they were twin brothers who share a birthday with yours truly.
And everything, you know.
You know, happy future birthday to the Usos on August 22nd, my birthday as well. I share a birthday with the greatest tag team of all time. Oh, yeah. And, you know, I think that from day one, they started wrestling each other in the living room, you know, and they were being, you know, little kids wrestling each other. And I'm sure like every kid, they had the dream of competing at WrestleMania against each other. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a fucking awesome match. And they're going to throw everything at each other.
They better have Rikishi involved in that shit.
I mean, one would think at some point they've been trying to get Rikishi involved. We'll see what happens between now and then.
I mean, he's involved on Twitter.
Yeah,
he's all over that shit. Yeah.
So why not get him to make an appearance? I think that would pop the crowd. But you know, I look forward to this. I look forward to this being a subplot of, you know, the main Bloodline angle. Yeah. And I think it was great. I think it was a great way to end the show. Asking questions, people booing Roman, upset about this reign, upset about this run. People are tired of it. People are upset, but that's what you want. This guy's a heel. You want people to be mad. You want people to be enraged. You want people to see him lose. Okay? Floyd Mayweather made a career out of this. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Floyd Mayweather made a career out of it. pissed everybody off, and everybody would buy that pay-per-view. And even though they knew he was going to outbox whoever he got in the ring with, which he did all the time.
Run around the ring for 12 rounds.
Well, I think it's a lot more than that, bro. It's a lot more than that, you know? But this guy, you know, still would always get the win, and people would still buy the pay-per-view, and people would still watch, and people would still tune in to see who was going to be the guy to finally beat him and who was going to be the guy to shut his mouth. And, you know, nobody did. So I think Roman Reigns is kind of working off that model. For me, you know, again, getting back to the match itself, I like the match. I thought it was great. But I'm going to say it was a 4. I'm definitely going to say it was a 4. I'll say, you know what, I'll even go as far as saying maybe like 4.5, because it was a little bit better than the other world title match. Yeah. But it wasn't in my opinion their best match. I think their best matches were, you know, in the Thunderdome era. And for those of you out there, go back, check it out on Peacock, pay the $10 so, you know, you don't have to watch as many ads like, you know, the other cheapskate that's usually on this show. But I can't even call him a cheapskate. I can't even call him a cheapskate anymore. Only when it comes to Peacock, okay? Because he's a pretty charitable guy, all kidding aside. Good man. Professor. But
respect on his name.
Which hopefully he should be back by then. I don't know if he's coming back from Colombia on boat or not. He might be. He might be on that Dracula boat that they're
paddle boat
on the Demeter. He might be on that Dracula boats for all we know. So, you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But you know, for me, this match I think was good, but not as good as their Thunderdome stuff. And I'll give it a 4.5. But certainly a lot of questions to be asked, and obviously, you know, SmackDown's going to be must-watch TV. And you know that that his segments are going to be really, really interesting.
Oh yeah.
But all in all, for me, I think this SummerSlam was good. It was a good card.
Give it a 4. Give SummerSlam a 4 out of 5.
I would give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I think just those two matches, Cody and Brock, the women's 3-way with the cash in. I think those were the standout matches of the night.
Yeah.
And those are definitely all-timers, and I look forward to seeing what comes of both matches. You know, Cody was trying to kind of interject himself into the world title picture on Monday Night Raw, but that was kind of cut off a little short by the Judgment Day. And, you know, there was a bit of a segment there. There was a 6-man tag. It was supposed to be Sammy, Cody and Rollins against the most dangerous man in the business, Dom Mysterio, Senor Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor. Yeah. Unfortunately, Sammy had suffered an injury. Was attacked by
Zayn.
Yeah. He had a pretty nasty exostosis on his elbow and was attacked by JD McDonough, which could, you know, spark a feud between them in the future. And he was replaced by Shinsuke Nakamura, who had won a big match that night, taking on Bronson Reed. At the end of the match, Cody, Rollins, and Nakamura defeated the Judgment Day. And while celebrating, Shinsuke Nakamura hit a Kinshasa on Seth Rollins. So,
turning heel.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a heel Nakamura, but more importantly, we're going to have a heel Nakamura going after Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, which I think is going to be great. So I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing what happens with Cody. And I think they're just firing on all cylinders right now, WWE. They're trending in a very, very good direction still. And I think that, you know, there's still a lot of great stories to be told. So it's, as it stands right now, it's as far as wrestling's concerned, it's must-see TV, because you're going to get the best stuff on there. You're going to get the most interesting stuff on there. And, you know, hopefully that continues.
All right. Well, Patty, it's been a good chat. It's been a good time.
Yeah, definitely, D. I just want to plug one thing.
Plug it up, brother. Plug it up.
Before we go, I've received a flyer from our very own Rocky Rock. Shout out to Rocky Rock.
WTF Visuals.
Yeah. WTF Visuals, shot by Rock as well. And it's a flyer for our upcoming show with the child actors. It's going to be a WTF Productions presents a Midsummer Nightmare at Crave 43 on August 26th, and that's 120 43rd Street in Union City, New Jersey. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. It is $15 at the door, 21 and over. And it's going to be featuring False Lives, La Milagrosa, Dignitary and yours truly with the child actors. So we certainly look forward to that. For any inquiries as far as the show's concerned, hit up at WTF_this_visuals or WTFproductions@gmail.com. So give it a look on Instagram, give it a follow. We're going to be posting up the flyer as soon as it's made available to us. And we look forward to bringing you another great show there. Stop on in if you haven't. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about working the marks if you're there. Look forward to seeing some people out there and look forward to playing that show with obviously those great bands. So, a lot of excitement coming up for that one, D.
All right, Pat. Well, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Everything Working the Marks, everything Famcast Media. Make sure you do not email Patty Reekin because he will not answer you. Do not email, but you can buy him a drink at the show.
Bad at texting, even worse at replying. So
exactly.
There you go.
All right, Patty, man. It was a good time, brother.
Thank you, D. Very, very good to see you. And hopefully the next time we're here with Working the Marks, the professor will be joining us. Thanks so much to everybody out there for all the support. Thanks so much for everything that you do. Like, subscribe, share. Sharing is caring, folks, and continue to enjoy what we're bringing you here on Working the Marks and everybody else that is under the Famcast Media banner. Take care, guys. Be safe. Keep on keeping on. Life's a garden. Dig it. Don't smoke crack.
All right. Later.
Famcast Media.